A formula, by the most basic of definitions, is simply what would be on the right side of an equal sign in an equation. Whatever the result of that equation is will be displayed in the cell containing the formula. And while a formula can become quite complex and use a lot of different Excel functions and features, it really can start out with some humble beginnings. And we're just going to cover those in this lesson. So to begin with, we have a little table here, and we have a list of customers, and then we have the year 1 purchases and year 2 purchases. And we just want to figure out what the total is and what the yearly average is. So again, we're looking at the real basics of building formulas. So let's go ahead and build our first formula. So the first thing we're going to do is to click on cell D8. That's where we want to put the formula. Now to start and to tell Excel that we're building a formula, you always have to type an equal sign first. So we'll type equals. And now we want to add the year 1 purchases of 10 plus year 2 that are 15. But if those change, we want to have it reference the cell and not just type 10 plus 15. So we're going to go and look at the column header of year 1 purchases, that's B, and the row header, which is 8. That's known as the cell's address. So I'm going to just type in B8, and you see Excel went over and highlighted that cell. So I know that I'm using the right one. And then I'll type the plus sign, and I'll go to C8. And again, Excel highlighted for me what cell it thinks I'm trying to use in this formula. And that's really it. I'll hit the enter key, and that formula went in to be 25. Now let's enter another simple formula in E8 to calculate the average between the 2 years. And what we're going to do there is we're just going to take the total. What we did, we're going to actually use the formula we built in another formula. Again, we'll start it the same way. We're going to hit the equal sign. But this time, instead of typing in D8, we'll go ahead and see. We can just go ahead and click on cell D8, and it will put the actual address of that cell in for us. And now I can hit my slash, which is the divide by operator, and then 2. And I have my yearly average. So that's really the basics of the formulas. You just write an equation, and then Excel will evaluate it and put the value in the cell. Let's see a couple other characteristics though. Now that we've got our formulas, we want to actually copy them down to other rows. So let's go ahead and click on cell D8 and use our copy command, which I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut of Command C for copy. And now I'm going to highlight the rest of the cells I want to paste it to. So I'll use my paste command, which is Command V. Excel copied the formula down. But I do want to point out something kind of subtle but really important. Our original formula was equals B8 plus C8. Well, if I look down to the next row, the total is 20 plus 25 equals 45. It's exactly what we'd expect. But technically, if you look at it, when I click on the formula, it's B9 plus C9. And the next one's B10 plus C10. This is a very old and very useful and powerful feature of Excel. When you copy formulas, by default, Excel will figure out what you're trying to do and change the formulas according to where you are. Because technically, if I copied this, every cell should really be B8 plus C8. But Excel, again, it copied these down and modified the cell references because it figured out that I'm trying to add up the 2 cells to the left. Now, when we want to verify things, let's look at something else. If I double click on the formula, my cell references become graphically represented on the sheet as well. You see the blue corresponds to the blue text in the formula, the green to the green text. Another really neat feature in Excel is that you can actually change the references by clicking and dragging. So if I go here and I wanted to change this to add up this value down here, I just drag the cell down and it changes my cell reference. And I hit enter. Now, that's not really accurate, and Excel actually gave me an error message saying my formula is inconsistent with all the others in this range. So I'm going to go back and copy the formula from the one above it. So again, there's some really useful tools. They seem kind of intuitive, but it's just important to note how Excel does relatively copy your formulas when you work down. Well, one last feature we're going to look at is we're going to copy the yearly average down too, but we're going to just get an introduction to something called the Autofill handle. And that is this little square on the bottom right hand side of a cell. And you're going to see in some other units how powerful it can be. But right now, we want to move our mouse until it's over that square and turns into a plus sign. And then we just click it and drag it, and Excel will automatically copy down that formula. Same thing as doing copy and paste, just a little faster, and you're able to use your mouse to do it. So we're going to see as we get into some more advanced lessons that formulas can range from being incredibly simple equations that only add up a few values to really complex things that use functions and other advanced techniques.